Right now, as you're listening to this, there are hundreds of different types of bacteria living inside your mouth, and I know that might sound a little uncomfortable at first, but stay with me, because this is where things start to get interesting. Because not all of these bacteria are harmful. In fact, many of them are actually helping you, quietly working in the background, supporting your gums, protecting your teeth, and keeping everything balanced without you even noticing. And for most of your life, your body has been doing a pretty good job managing that balance on its own. But then, something slowly begins to change. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually, over time, especially after the age of 50, because as your body changes, your internal systems don't stop working, but they do become more sensitive. And that means small imbalances, things that didn't matter much before, can now start to show up in ways you can actually feel. And this is where many people begin to notice subtle signs, often without connecting them to what's really happening. Maybe your gums feel just a little more sensitive than they used to. Maybe your gums feel just a little more sensitive than they used to. Brushing your teeth doesn't feel quite as comfortable. Maybe you notice a small amount of bleeding. Or maybe your mouth just doesn't feel as fresh, even after doing everything you normally do. And at first, it's easy to ignore, because it doesn't feel serious. It feels manageable. But over time, those small signs can begin to build. And here's the important part. Most people don't see it as a signal. They see it as something normal. They say, this is just part of getting older. But in many cases, it's not just aging, it's imbalance. And that imbalance doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, quietly, over weeks, months, even years, until one day, your body starts asking for more support. Now let's take a moment to really understand what's happening inside your mouth. Because once you see it clearly, everything else will make sense. Inside your mouth, there's something called a protective layer. You can think of it like a natural shield. When this shield is balanced, it protects your gums, helps regulate bacteria, and supports overall oral health. But when that balance is disturbed, that shield becomes weaker. And when it weakens, certain types of bacteria can begin to grow more easily, especially in places that are harder to reach, like just below your gum line. And this is where things begin to connect. Because even if you brush regularly, and even if you floss, those deeper areas are not always easy to fully clean. And over time, that's where discomfort can begin to develop. Now I want to be very clear here. Brushing and flossing are still essential. They are the foundation. But sometimes, they're not the whole picture. And that's where many people start looking for additional ways to support their oral health. Gently, naturally, and consistently. And this is where natural oils come into the conversation. But before we go further, let's pause for just a moment. Because if what we're talking about right now feels familiar, if you've noticed even one of these small changes, then this is exactly why Senior Guide exists. We focus on simple, clear, realistic health habits for people over 50. So if you want to stay independent, feel more comfortable in your body, and understand your health without confusion, take a moment to subscribe. We're working toward reaching 30,000 subscribers this month, and your support helps us reach more people who need this kind of guidance. Now, let's continue. Because not all oils work the same way. Some oils offer a sense of comfort, some help with surface support, and a few, when used correctly, may support deeper balance. And understanding that difference is what really matters. Let's start with something familiar, and that starts with clove oil. Clove oil, you've probably heard about it, maybe even used it before, especially when dealing with tooth sensitivity. And that's because clove contains a natural compound that helps calm discomfort. And for many people, that's exactly what they notice, a temporary sense of relief. But here's where things become important. Clove oil is very strong, and using it directly, without dilution, can actually irritate your gums. So it's not about using more, it's about using it properly. And even then, it's not a complete solution, because relieving discomfort is only one part of the picture. And that brings us to something deeper. Balance. Because your mouth doesn't need to be completely cleared of bacteria. It needs to stay balanced. And that's where tea tree oil comes in. Tea tree oil has been studied for its ability to support a cleaner oral environment. And when used carefully, in very small, diluted amounts, some people notice that their gums feel calmer, less irritated, over time. But again, consistency matters more than intensity. And that's a theme you're going to hear again and again, because it's that important. Now let's take this a step further, because there are certain oils that don't just focus on surface support. They may help support balance at a deeper level. One example is oregano oil. Now, oregano oil is powerful, and because of that, it must always be diluted. But when used properly, it has been studied for its ability to support microbial balance. And that's something many people misunderstand. Because the goal is not to remove everything. It is all about supporting your body's natural balance. Because your body works best when things are in harmony. And this brings us to another traditional option. And that brings us to the traditional use of myrrh. Myrrh has been used for centuries, especially in oral care practices, and people have used it to support gum comfort and overall mouth health. And over time, some people notice that their gums feel firmer, more stable, less sensitive. But here's the key. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually, and that's where most people lose patience. But the body doesn't respond to quick fixes. It responds to consistency. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment below for more health tips. And that brings us to the most important part of everything we've talked about, your routine. Because no oil, no single habit, can replace your daily routine. Proper brushing and daily flossing are both foundational. Regular dental checkups, these are still essential. But when you combine those habits with gentle, supportive methods, that's when things begin to improve. Not suddenly, but steadily. And steady improvement is what actually lasts. Now, if you decide to explore any of these oils, just remember a few simple principles. Start small, always dilute, apply gently, and most importantly, pay attention to how your body responds, because your body is always giving you feedback. You just have to listen, and if something doesn't feel right, take a moment to pause and then adjust as needed. And if needed, speak with your dentist, because your safety always comes first. Now here's something simple you can start today. Don't focus on doing more. Focus on doing things consistently. Because small habits, done every day, can create meaningful changes over time. Less sensitivity, more comfort, and a better feeling overall. And that confidence matters more than anything. If this helped you, subscribe to Senior Guide. Because we're building something meaningful. A place where health is simple, clear, and easy to follow. Especially for adults over 50. And we're very close to reaching 30,000 subscribers this month. So your support truly makes a difference. And before you go, tell me in the comments, is this something you've already tried or something new for you? Because your experience might help someone else feel more confident to start. Take care of your daily habits, and your body will take care of the rest. I'll see you in the next video.